Freddy, how you doing?
Hey, how you doing?
I always find I find it really weird when I start the podcast off asking like how someone's doing, even though we've been talking for like 15 minutes.
I mean, we're gonna be professionals, right?
Yeah, we're gonna
And pretend.
Yeah, pretend this is where the conversation started.
Okay.
How you doing, man? What's news?
I'm doing fine. I'm doing great, man.
Doing great. Yeah, we had a nice little chat for like 10 minutes about the weather just before. Because it's
Yeah, I mean,
you're in Mexico where it's winter.
I'm in Mexico City where it's winter, and you're in Australia where you guys live upside down and all of that jazz.
I love those like depictions of Australia and stuff where they actually show us living upside down or like wearing shoes on our feet or something. It's like,
yeah, exactly.
No, we live the same as everyone else. It's just perpetually hot all of the fucking time.
It's just like a little perpetually hot. Yeah, that's like the whole continent is just hell.
It is, man. Like, if you look at like a map of Australia and see where like everyone lives, it's literally just the coastline. No one lives in the center of Australia because
exactly.
You can't live there. It's just desert. There's no water. There's nothing. There's just desert and snakes. And nobody likes it.
And freaking creatures that wants to kill you. That's what I mean, you know, let me tell you first something cool about Australia.
Yeah.
Is the accent, man.
Yeah?
The accent. I love the Australian accent. There's two accents in the English language that I wish I had. Australian accent and like the Brooklyn accent, like the Italian American accent.
Brooklyn accent.
The Brooklyn accent. Hey, what you doing? You know, that kind of accent.
Why Australian though? Because like being like, as I know it's very difficult, like being from the actual place, like being Australian, the Australian accent's not very appealing to us because like it's something we grew up with, and it's not attractive to us. But to everyone else, they're like, oh, the Australian accent's so sexy. And we're like, really?
No, I find it sexy. I mean, I will probably get turned off by an Australian girl, to be honest. But as a man, I would like to talk like that because I find it really like a tough way of talking, right?
A tough way of talking.
Yeah, like
really?
I think it's I don't know why. Not tough like ghetto tough, like no, like you know, I don't know how to describe it.
No,
but it's
I kind of get you.
Yeah, and I think also I was a huge fan of Jim Jeffries, the comedian.
Oh man, I love Jim Jeffries.
And I love Jim Jeffries, and I kind of love the way he speaks.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I wish I could speak like that.
He's very like Southern Australian, so like the further south you get a bit more of that like Australian drawl. They talk up a bit more in the nose a bit more, and it's a bit more rough.
Exactly, it's more rough.
Yeah, and then you get to more like the northeast where I'm from, and it's a bit more British influence. Like a lot of people confuse me for having a British accent a lot of the times. And it's a lot more of that northeastern sort of Australia. You get a bit more of the reserved British influence compared to down south, where it's a bit more like the Cockney and a bit more rough and
more Aussie, right?
More Aussie, yeah. What people determine as like the Australian accent's more like the southern part of Australia, more so than the north.
But you also have this. I mean, I can tell you're Australian.
You can.
And English is not my main language, and I can tell you're Australian. But and British, it's just way too different for me. I don't know. It's not manly. British. It's not a manly accent, you know. It's not.
It's
just not.
It's not manly. It's very obvious.
When you watch like a movie like Hooligans, right? And they're like beating each other, and you're like, oh, they're beating each other, but they speak really weird.
Oh man, see, my favorite movie of all time is Snatch. Which is
that's a great movie.
Which is an English movie. And I watched that and I'm like, those guys are hard as, but like, I don't think anyone would ever say Jason Statham is not a rough dude. Like, Jason Statham is pretty rough. But
then he speaks and in my head he's drinking tea. So
really? You know what? One thing I love about British people, I've met so many British people, because we get a lot of them through Australia, and it's such a common thing. I don't know why, but a lot of them just carry tea bags in their wallets. And
it's like if I ever go to Australia, man, I'm gonna bring some tacos. I mean, it's just the way it is.
Fuck, Freddy, no. But I kind of get that, man. Like, I went to the States probably about like 10 years ago or so, and when I was in the States, I got a craving for like a meat pie, because it's quite a common like Australian food here, like a handheld meat pie, and they just didn't sell them in the States at all. And I just had this craving the whole time. Like, luckily, they sold Vegemite in the States, which was great, so I could have some.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. We don't have a big Australian community here in Mexico,
Really?
even though. Well, probably I don't know if maybe in Cancun or something where you guys can surf or something, but here we don't have like a big Australian community. I would say that there's not a big Australian community anywhere except for Australia.
Yeah.
Right? You guys don't leave your country, right?
I think there's certain pockets and stuff, because I know like through like New York, there's a few like Australian bars. But sorry, I'm getting so many fucking text messages. Go away. No one ever messages me until I'm doing something, and then people will just constantly send me texts. I know there's like Australian bars kind of around the place, like through New York and stuff, but I don't know if there's like big Australian communities. I don't know. I think mainly through Europe, I think, because I know a lot of Australians go and do like a year or two in like England, because it's quite easy for us to go over to England, being part of the Commonwealth and stuff. Yeah, so I've got a few friends that are over there at the moment too. But in terms of elsewhere, I don't know.
Yeah, though, and you mentioned meat pie or something like that.
Yeah, meat pies.
What kind of food do you guys have in there? I mean, I really like Australian humor. I really like a lot of things about Australia. I will never live in Australia because of the weather and the. I mean, maybe, but
it's
the weather.
The weather is shit.
I mean, I've seen like in YouTube or something how Melbourne is, and it looks cool. It looks like a cool place to live, but the weather, it's just a big deal for me, and also the fact that a spider can kill you, that's like, come on, dude.
That's one thing that a lot of people from other countries like say to me when I talk to them. They're like, oh, aren't you scared? Like, you get all these spiders and snakes and stuff. It's like, not really. Like, they're not that common.
I mean,
like in like the city, like where like I live in cities, and like 90% of the country lives in cities, you don't get like the poisonous snakes or poisonous spiders in your house and stuff all the time.
Yeah.
You get them more so like if you go to like the bushland or at the forests and stuff, that's where you'll get them. But if you go out there, you're pretty prepared for it, you know?
That's the issue. Like, if I go camping in Mexico, I don't have to worry about that. You know, it's really there's not gonna be like an animal.
You don't really have to worry about it in Australia either. Like most like camping places are set up in areas that, you know, don't have crocodiles and don't have not really much else like that can harm you apart from crocodiles.
Unless you go, okay, I get it. Okay, so it's unless you go to a specific, like here, like if you go to like the south in the south of Mexico, we have the jungle. Yeah. And there's like, probably there's gonna be like a fucking jaguar or something, right?
Yeah, see?
But nobody goes there to camping.
Yeah, exactly.
Nobody ever goes
and
there
that's the same with us here. Like there will be people that will go like camping or swimming with crocodiles and stuff, but there's like the idiots that do that.
Yeah, or hippies, right?
Yeah, or people that are just like, hey man, they won't hurt us. It's like, yes it will. It's a wild animal. Of course it's gonna fucking hurt you.
I'm gonna connect with nature.
Yeah. I'd be one with the crocodile, man. It's like, yeah, you will be one in the crocodile's stomach.
Exactly.
I'm a bit curious about a few more things. So you haven't had much experience with like Australian culture. Have you tried many sort of Australian foods? Like, have you tried Vegemite?
No, never. They say, okay, Americans say that that's awful.
Americans are, no offense to a lot of Americans, they're very dumb when it comes to eating Vegemite, though.
And also, a friend of mine married a Canadian guy that it's like the stereotypical Canadian redhead,
Yeah.
and he actually works in the woods with bears and stuff. And it's like, dude, come on. It's like if I was wearing a sombrero, like
Yeah.
it was like that. It would be like that.
You did say that
And
you'd carry tacos with you everywhere, so you kind of you're in line there.
yeah, but not a sombrero though.
Dude, I used to have a sombrero actually. I used to wear it all the time because it
people-
gets very
people
sunny
buy
here.
it.
It was great for keeping the shade out of my face and stuff.
Yeah, they use in the northern parts of Mexico, they use cowboy hats.
Oh, really?
And yeah, so they use those. But sombreros are more like a costume thing for mariachi
Yeah.
bands here.
So
And
it's not
usually-
like a common thing.
No, and they're usually really expensive. I mean, probably the ones that you got were like mass produced, right?
Yeah, really cheap, like
And-
$5 made out of like shitty straw.
Usually a good mariachi suit, it's way expensive.
Yeah?
And it's supposed to be like like a high-end type of clothing.
Yeah, because like a mariachi band's like quite a common thing through Mexico. Because I know it's quite a like stereotypical thing in like media, like movies and stuff. The mariachi
No,
band.
it is common.
Yeah.
It's not like you're walking on the street and there's mariachi, right?
No.
But if you go to a place where there's a lot of bars,
Yeah.
there's gonna be mariachi bands everywhere trying
That's
to
awesome.
yeah. But it's because there's a lot of bars and people are drinking, and so
Yeah.
mariachis are gonna be everywhere trying to get you to
Like
buy them.
like busking. So they have like the hat or something out for people to donate money to them.
They usually charge for per song.
Oh,
So
true.
you will say like, "Hey, sing me this song," and they will charge you, and then they will do that. Yeah.
That is so cool because like if you put that sort of situation, like say for like in Australia, for example, if you have a musician standing in like the bar sort of district in my town, and they charged per song, they would make no money because Australians wouldn't pay for the song, but they do busking, so they just play and people donate to them.
Oh,
But
we have those types of business, but that's more for like regular music, like rock music
Oh,
or
okay.
rock bands, really little indie people that are starting out,
Okay,
or
that's similar sort of
you know
thing.
the hipster guy who's like with his guitar in the hat. We have those also in the same areas usually, but the mariachi bands are so in the culture that they go table to table, and if you're with a lady, they will say like, "Hey, a song for the lady," and then you will be like, "Oh, well, okay,
I guess I have to now. You fucking put me on the spot, man. All right.
Yeah, exactly. So they make a living with doing that. I mean, I don't know if it's the main source of income for them. I don't think so.
I wouldn't imagine so.
But it will be a good side hustle. If I knew how to play an instrument, I will do it for sure.
Yeah, dude, I'm so jealous of that sort of thing. Like looking at like other cultures and such. Take Mexican culture for example. You guys have such a rich, vibrant culture. It's so fascinating that you can make like, say like Coco for example. The movie Coco is. I don't know how like factual it is on like American culture, but you can make that sort of thing. You can't do that about Australian culture. Like we just don't have that much shit to do. But not like you could about like Indigenous Australians, like Aboriginal Australians. You could definitely do that sort of thing. But like,
but you guys killed most of them, right? So that's why
and then there's
you
a
don't
lot
have
of
like a lot.
Yeah, and then there's a lot of systematic racism when it comes to the remaining Indigenous population as well. They're not treated very well.
Oh yeah, we have that issue as well. Maybe this is too serious for your podcast, but
there's no such thing, man.
but it's just like everywhere, even in Latin American countries, like people assume in Anglo-Saxon countries, they assume that Latin American is all brown people and we all are like the same, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the fact to the matter is that white people want everything 500 years ago.
Yeah.
So even in Latin America, there's a lot of people white descent, and I actually consider myself white here in Mexico.
Yeah.
And we have like a lot of advantages that indigenous people will never have.
Yeah.
The difference was in Spanish countries was that the Spaniards never killed the population. They actually wanted more servants. So it was more like the Spanish crown or the Spaniard crown. They wanted more Catholics. So you will not kill them. You rather have more Catholics.
Yeah.
And that's why there's a lot. Yeah. We mixed. The Spaniards mixed with a lot of the indigenous people, and that's why we have this kind of melting cultures in most of Latin America. Mexico is not the only country with that. You can go everywhere in Latin America, and it's the same.
South America too. Yeah. I like this sort of history stuff is fascinating, but it's also very sad in the same way, where you're talking about like genocides and mass slavery and such, and all this like Anglo-Saxon European shit that happens. And I'm no different. I'm English heritage, tracking way back to pretty much the first fleet in Australia, which is sad to think about. Like, my ancestors were big perpetuators of a lot of disgusting things in this country, and it's like, but it's sad, but like, for
me it's what are you gonna do? I mean, it doesn't matter. Even indigenous people, man, the thing is that they don't have a recorded history, but they probably did horrible shit way before Europeans came, but they just didn't record it. Right? I think it's just human nature. I think it's just human nature and the nature of violence, right? Because we're mammals. Yeah. And we're territorials. And that's what we do.
Yeah, and we take over territories and kill and destroy anything that's preoccupying that territory. And I'm glad that sort of, I think a lot of that part of human history is now sort of behind us, where you don't like, I mean, there's still a lot of countries invading other countries, not to point any red, white, and blue people, but it's pretty much mostly a thing of the past, I think. I don't know. Yeah. I could be incredibly ignorant to the situation, but I think like invading and taking over countries is almost a thing of the past. So that's kind of good.
I'm also optimistic about that, because if you like take a look at the statistics and all of that, it's like after World War II, it was like, okay, this is over.
Yeah.
Right?
We shouldn't be doing
we still have wars, but it's not like, even here in Mexico, like we have these issues with organized crime, right? Mm-hmm. And but it's horrible, but it's not like the French are coming and killing all of us. You know, it's not like 19th century horrible. It's just horrible.
Yeah. it's a strange type of optimism.
Yeah, but I'm optimistic because you can see like a trend of people like, okay, let's just chill.
Yeah. Well, it's I think there's a kind of a good little segue from there, talking about like World War I and invading countries and such, and moving between countries, to talk about your next project that you're working on, because I think that's kind of a good little segue, sort of.
Actually, yes, because of World War II, right?
Yeah. So you're working on a new game. So you've made a few before, one of which I played on the channel, Llorona. Did I pronounce
Llorona?
I pronounced it right this time.
Yeah.
It turns out that I've been...
Just to tell your audience that.
I've been mispronouncing it the whole fucking time.
I was giving you shit for your pronunciation.
Dude, give me shit, man. My Spanish is awful. I apologize. But yeah, you made Llorona, and I played it on the channel. I'll have a link in the description on YouTube for you to go check it out, which also links to the itch.io for GameDevBoi, aka Freddy. Let's go check that out. But yeah, you're working on a new game that has to do with Nazis and end of World War II. I don't want to give too much away. you're probably better at explaining it than I am. So
just for people to know, not Greg is going to lend me his voice.
yeah, I'm gonna be in the game.
He's gonna be in the game, and I'm working on these. You know, I like these low poly, lo-fi kind of
me too.
art
I love
style,
it.
right? And I'm working on this game, but the difference with Llorona was a game that had a lot of limitations set because it was for a game jam.
Oh, okay.
That was about Latin American culture, right?
Oh, that's very, very handy for yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the issue is that there was like a lot of bullet points that you have to kind of nail.
Yeah.
Yeah, and one of them is no violence, no.
Oh.
You know, and Llorona doesn't have any violence, and it doesn't have any blood. Which, if you think about it, for a horror game, that's kind of hard to.
But yeah, like
you know?
that never really clicked with me when I was playing it. I do remember being legitimately scared. Like, this is actually fucking terrifying. And now to think about it, and like, there was no like gore, there was no violence in it, there was no blood, and to be actually terrified of it, that is a huge fucking thing, man. Like, you should be very proud of it.
Thank you, man. I went for atmosphere.
Yeah.
Because it was like, okay, I need atmosphere.
Is that also the same in this new game? You're setting a lot of atmosphere with it as well?
I'm setting atmosphere, but I don't have the constraints of blood or violence.
Oh, so it's gonna be gory.
So it's gonna be a little bit more gory.
Oh.
I don't go way too much into gory, but
yeah.
Well, depends on where you stand about what is gory, right? Yeah. I'm going to go 90s gory. Maybe for some people that's a lot.
Yeah, but it's not like Saw, like Hostel, like splatter, gore kind of stuff.
It's more like Resident Evil. You know, Resident Evil. It's a big influence to me.
Yeah.
And in Resident Evil, you could like decapitate the zombies or something, and that will be a thing that you could do. But it's not like Saw, right? It's not like that.
It's like buckets of blood. So what's the game about? Like, I know what the game is about, but do you want to tell us a little bit about what the game's about? Maybe not many spoilers. I don't know how you want to go about it.
The game started in December. I started to work on it, and I wanted to make something where you can shoot, and also with a lot of cosmic horror elements.
Ooh, like
Lovecraftian elements. Ooh. And I want to make that. Now the setting is in Argentina. And the thing with the issue I have with Lovecraft and with cosmic horror, not with Lovecraft, with cosmic horror, is that most cosmic horror is copying Lovecraft too much.
Yeah.
And it's to copy. Yeah. I mean, it's okay to copy. That's how you make new shit, right?
Yeah.
But everything that is cosmic horror related, it's said in New England or some place that just looks like New England.
Yeah.
And I just with the exception probably of Silent Hill.
But that's still like the United States still.
But it's still like the United States, right? And I thought, well, I am really obsessed with Argentina for some reason. For some reason, I'm obsessed.
It's a gorgeous place.
It is. But I'm kind of obsessed since I was like 15 with Argentina. For people who don't know Spanish or don't know about this, but Argentinian Spanish is really, really, really different from any other kind of Spanish.
Oh, really?
Because they're really Italian, actually.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Really? I didn't know it.
Yeah, there's a joke like the stereotype of the Argentinian in Spanish-speaking countries is that they're narcissistic and self-centered, right?
What?
that's like the stereotypical Argentinian. It's not true, but it's just a joke,
I
right?
didn't know that at all.
They're really Italian. Most of them descend, or a lot of them descend from Italians.
What?
And then there's like a joke that they're so narcissistic that they say, why everybody in Italy has an Argentinian last name? What the hell? So that's like, I'm obsessed with Argentina.
Oh, I love that.
And it's one of those countries that I wish I could go.
Yeah.
But you know, the pandemic.
Yeah.
And
hopefully you'll get there eventually. Well, you
Yeah,
will
I
get there
hope.
eventually.
yeah, I hope so. I hope so.
Yeah.
And I really like them. I really like their sense of humor. It's really dark. And
Yeah.
yeah. And well, since I was obsessed with that, I can do a really good Argentinian accent in Spanish. And I also, I was really influenced by Resident Evil. So I've said this, right?
Yeah.
And I wanted to do something like Resident Evil 4, where the zombies are not zombies. It's just they're
It's like people.
They're infected with a parasite, right?
Okay, yeah.
They
So
can-
it's sort of like zombies, but not.
Exactly. They're
Yeah.
like, and they can like speak, and they say things,
Oh.
and they scream things to you, and it's
Ooh.
kind of scary sometimes. I mean, Resident Evil 4 is not a scary game, but there's parts where they're really nailed. For instance, there's a part, I don't know if you play this.
I haven't. Yeah, I was about to say that I've never played the I haven't played any
It's
of the
not a-
Resident Evil games actually.
You should, man.
Yeah, it's a big gap in my history. I didn't really play
Yeah.
horror games until I was like much older. It was just something because I loved
How
horror
old are you?
movies, but I'm 28 at the moment.
That's weird. You never
yeah.
played them?
Yeah, I don't know what it is, man. Like, I didn't play horror games until I was in my 20s, which, yeah, it doesn't make sense because I love horror movies and I love horror games ever since I've like started playing them quite a lot on the channel. I really love them and I love being like scared and frightened, but I just never did growing up, and I have no idea why.
No, I did growing up play Resident Evil, and it traumatized me. and I kind of love that.
Hell
Well,
yeah. So yeah, there's a part in Resident Evil 4.
Well, yeah. There's a part of Resident Evil 4 that there's a section where you're like in a castle and everybody's and these persons are like cultists, and you can hear them inside the walls of the castle and in the hallways. You can hear them say "muere, muere, 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 muere," which means kill him, kill him, kill him.
Yeah.
And they're cultists, and that really creates I always thought that for a quote-unquote horror game that it's not scary at all, that is really cool. It creates atmosphere, right?
Yeah.
And I wanted to do something like that. And just so you know, Resident Evil 4 is set in Spain. That's why
Oh.
they're speaking Spanish.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, okay, I want to do something like that, but in Argentina, because
Yeah.
I'm obsessed with Argentina. And also Argentina has this South America, Argentina and Chile, and also Brazil has this relationship with Europe. Really interesting that after the war, a lot of Nazis escaped there, and
Yeah.
they were never found. And the famous case of Dr. Mengele, I don't know how is that pronounced. It was like a Nazi doctor that made experiments with twins and shit, and and he was like
Yeah, I think I've heard
doing
about him.
crazy shit.
Yeah.
And he escaped to South America, and he died of old age in the beaches of Brazil, like if nothing happened, right? he had a great life, great guy.
Unfortunately, you don't like. I want everyone to have a great life, but ex-Nazi scientists doing experiments on people, maybe not.
And I thought about also, like, Nazis are such a common cliche in video games,
yeah.
right? That I wanted to kind of deconstruct that. Like, it's not the guy with the uniform and the SS band in the arm. It's like just a farmer who's living there for a while, and it's a cultist.
Yeah.
But he was a person that escaped from this from the trials that they were doing, and he escaped.
And he fled to Argentina.
And he fled to, and this is what I am trying to do, like a game where you're in this town that is, because also there's a town in Chile that it was founded by Nazis.
Yeah.
And right now you can visit it, and it's like a tourist attraction because it's a German town with German architecture and German beer.
But just like in the middle of Chile.
In the middle of the mountains in Chile.
That's so bizarre.
It's super bizarre. And
I love it though. That sounds fascinating.
It sounds fascinating. And also, like, to be fair, the people that live there, I mean, they didn't choose who their ancestors were going to be.
I mean, that's
right?
what we were talking about before with like your ancestors and my ancestors potentially doing horrible things to indigenous people of our countries. It's like, we didn't get to choose that, but you know, we could choose what we do in the future. So the same sort of thing. Yeah, it's a nice little circle getting back to that point.
Exactly, actually, right? So, and then these people that live in this town in Chile, they just sell beer and hot dogs, and it's kind of, for what I understand, it's a pretty cool place.
Yeah.
But I wanted to go deeper into that, and I was, okay, I'm gonna set this game in a town where there's a lot of bad people that escaped Germany and founded this town with the sole intention of prolonging their beliefs. And you know how there's a lot of mysticism around the Nazis, right? Like, they were doing some mystic shit, and they were doing like
experimenting like the occult and stuff.
Exactly, right? And I was like, okay, this is the perfect blend for them to like summon Cthulhu, right? It's gonna summon like multidimensional creatures.
Yeah.
If not the Nazis, I mean.
Fuck. That is so cool.
That's what I'm kind of. That's the story, or that's.
It's like the background.
The background of what I want to. In the game, I wanted to make it more. I wanted to make it more like Resident Evil 7, which is first person, and you have like, but you also have guns, and you also can defend yourself.
Yeah. And then I'm there for some reason.
Excuse me?
And then I'm there for some reason.
And then Greg just said, oh, you know what? That Nazi game, that sounds great.
I'm legitimately so excited for this though. Like, you sent me a little progress picture of the model, and I've been showing it to every single person that'll look at it.
The one of your face?
Yeah. He sent me one. So Freddy sent me a little model that he's been doing of my face in the low poly style, and I've been showing to anyone who will listen to me, like, hey man, I'm gonna be in a video game, look at me. And they're all like, oh yeah, that's you as a PS1 character. And I'm like, yeah, it is. Yeah,
it is actually, it was kind of hard to get your face, especially your hair. Your hair is really weird.
Yeah, you mentioned it is. It is a weird type of hair color, man. Change it up if you want, man. You can.
No, I got the color now.
You got it now?
Yeah, I got it, and I gave you a mullet.
Yeah. Oh man, I can't believe you gave me a mullet. Mullets are, I don't know if it's a thing in Mexico right now, but like the fashion trend where I'm from, mullets are making a comeback. Like so many dudes have mullets right now, and it's actually scary.
I was talking about that. I don't go out a lot, especially during COVID.
Yeah.
But I was talking about that with a friend of mine, and he was saying, you know, mullets are coming back, and they're horrible.
Is it happening in Mexico too?
Actually, not ironically, I love mullets. I think they look so silly.
Oh, they look horrible. I mean, I'm all for like people like dress however you want to. If you're comfortable, if you're happy in whatever you're wearing, power to you. But mullets, man, come on, boys. We could do better
Wear
than that.
I will do a mullet just to be silly.
Do a minute. I'll grow a mullet out too, so we can help market your game when it comes out. Oh, we were saying before as well, you don't have a title for this game at the moment.
Oh yeah,
So
I don't have a title.
So anyone listening, if you can think of a title for this game, if you think of something catchy that you think could make a good title for this game, let us know in the comments on YouTube, or you can find me at Not Greg Gaming on Twitter, or Freddy is at GameDevBoi, correct?
That's right. Boy with an I.
GameDevBoi on Twitter. So find either of us and message us if you've got an idea for the title, because Freddy doesn't have one yet. So that'd be
titles
very
are
handy.
Super tricky, man. Like with Llorona, it was a no-brainer, right?
Yeah.
But the titles are super tricky for me.
Do you have like an expected release date or something when you're anticipating to release this game?
I want to release the demo next month.
Next month?
I hope so, though. With sometimes life gets in the way, but
yeah.
I'm doing everything I can to release the demo next month.
Oh, that's really soon.
I mean, not like the 1st of March, but probably like in the middle of March. I'm doing everything I can. And then because
some voice recordings.
Exactly. And the way I like to work in game dev is that I like to create all like the systems first.
Yeah.
And then once I got all the systems in place, like I don't know, like the weapons and how to shoot an enemy, how the enemies are going to behave.
Mm-hmm.
Right now I'm working on the inventory system. Once I have all of that, then I only need to create maps and cutscenes and and so that's how I work in Llorona. I created like the system, quote unquote. The systems were like when you walk certain area, then Llorona passes through, right?
Yeah.
And then you have to use a certain key to open certain door, and all of those I coded them before, and then I just needed to create the map and put the which door is going to be a type of door that needs a type of key. Oh, this door. And this other door needs another type of key.
That was like
and
the
then
playing
you just
cards.
Exactly. And then where I'm gonna put the playing cards. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna put them here. Yeah, so that's how I like to work. So right now, the only thing I'm missing is the inventory system.
Mm-hmm.
But those, for me personally, are kind of difficult to code. I don't know why. Not difficult, it's just kind of a drag for me.
Tedious, yeah. Takes a while.
So I've been postponing this.
Yeah. That's really cool, man, because like that was one of the things that I wanted to talk to you about today when we're recording this, was kind of like your process of like how you go about creating a game, and you've kind of laid it out there, focusing on the gameplay first and then kind of building from there. And I think that's such a good way for game development, because I think a lot of game devs focus on like the story or like a key moment and then build backwards from there, and they can sometimes forget the gameplay element and be like, oh, this is actually a game. But you seem to focus on the game first and build from there, which is very smart.
If you see like the older screenshots of this particular project, it's in freaking space, man.
It was so unexpected. Sorry.
I wasn't thinking about the story. I mean, I had like what type of game I wanted to make.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, maybe it can be in space. So because it's cosmic horror, right? And it should be
it's cosmic,
kind of
it's
like
in space, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. and I created some assets and just to give me like an idea of, but I needed to code a lot of things in order for the
Yeah.
game to work. And the advantage of this way of working for me is that if I was supposed to think on a story back then, it's kind of, you're gonna force yourself to just write something, you know. And I don't know if, I think that for the Argentinian thing, it was just someday I got inspiration and I was like,
Yeah.
man, I should make it in Argentina. What am I thinking? Right? But it was like just a speck of inspiration that came from nowhere, right?
And that's I mean, that's how those sort of things get you, because like, I don't know if I've told you before, but I'm a writer as well in my spare time, and I've got a degree in film, and I've done a few different like film project things. And yeah, those sparks of moments are so what's the word, like invaluable, because like you'll be working on a project and then you'll have that moment where you're like, hey, what if it's like this? And you're like, holy shit, that changes everything, that's so much better. And you go through and then rework everything to kind of accommodate that what if moment. And that's the best moments when it comes to creating, man. Oh.
Yeah, I was so excited when I was like, what? I'm obsessed with Argentina. What I don't do
Argentina?
Yeah.
I'm so excited, man, because I love Llorona. It was so much fun to play. One of the, like, sincerely, I know it sounds like I'm just being a bit of a kiss ass right now since we're talking, but sincerely, one of my favorite like indie horror games that I've played on the channel so far. So I'm so excited to see what you do next, man. That's why I've kept in touch with you since, man, because I'm like, man, Freddy's good, man. I want to see what you do, man. So
when did you play Llorona? Like October, November?
That's a great question, man. I can see if I can pull it up, actually. I think it was in my old place before I moved house, wasn't it? I don't quite remember.
I recently rewatched your playthrough.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I was like, oh, we're gonna be in the podcast and everything. I'm gonna rewatch this because it was so long ago. And yeah, I recently rewatched it, and I was laughing because I got you with a couple of spooks.
You did, man. Oh, why can't I find it? Oh shit. Oh, I don't think I put Llorona in the title.
Oh no, you did. I
did?
Yeah, it's. Well, I just Googled. I just put on the search bar on YouTube, not Greg Llorona, and it's like the first one for me.
Oh no, why can't I find it in my videos then? My thing's just gone. It's Llorona, right?
Llorona, yeah.
Oh.
I'm gonna send it.
October 11th. So it was
11th, yeah.
Yeah, around Halloween time. Man, that thumbnail as well took me so long to make. I remember spending so long on that thumbnail trying to get it right. Oh man.
It is a great thumbnail.
Man, thumbnails are hard. They're so tough to do. But I've been having fun with them. That was
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Who made your intro animation? Did you make that?
The intro animation with Greg the Frog?
Yeah.
That was Charlie Mack. Big.
That's a great one.
Big love to Charlie Mack. Yeah. So I had the frog, the original design, which you can see in my old videos, the old design for the logo and such. I had that designed a long time ago by a logo designer, and then I just wanted it updated, and then I found Charlie Mack through Reddit, and he's making a short at the moment called Skeeto.
Okay.
I'll put Charlie Mack's YouTube's in all my descriptions as well on YouTube, so go check out Charlie Mack if you haven't. So yeah, he's doing a short film at the moment called Skeeto, and I watched the trailer for that, and I really liked his animation style because there's like
it's
a frog.
Really good.
Yeah, there's like a frog and a toad in there and stuff, and I was like, oh, I really like that. So I just sent him a message. I'm like, hey man, I found your channel. I want to do like a little animation opening sequence for my YouTube channel and redesign the logo a little bit to be a bit more like modern, look a bit nicer looking. And he was like, yeah man, sure, I'll do that. So I got the redesign, so did that, and then he did another redesign for Christmas as well. So I was like, I want like a Christmas version where he's got like a little Santa hat on. So I did that too. And then I don't want to spoil anything, but he's working on a few other ones as well. So that's gonna be cool. I love Charlie.
Yeah, that's actually one of the things that catch my eye when back in October. I remember.
Really?
Because Llorona kind of exploding in October because it was October, right?
Yeah. So it's like around Halloween, yeah.
And it's like my first game that actually gets a little bit popular. So I was really excited, and I watched all the videos. I watched all of them.
Oh.
And but I remember that your intro catch my eye. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, it was like a big influence was the Game Grumps. Have you watched the Game Grumps?
Oh, the Game Grumps.
Yeah.
I am a Game Grumps fan.
Yeah. So they've got that nice sort of little catchy opening intro animation.
That's why my name is GameDevBoi.
Oh, really? Because of Game Grumps?
Because of Game Grumps, because they have this joke where Aaron says
the video Game Boy.
The video Game Boy. I'm the one who wins.
One who wins.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, that's the best.
So my Twitter description says, "I am the GameDevBoi. I'm the one who devs."
Dude, I never realized that. Oh, that's incredible. Hell yeah.
I'm a big fan of them.
Yeah. Well, I'm a huge fan too, and that's why when I was thinking, like, because I'm a big fan of like Game Grumps, like Markiplier, Jacksepticeye and such, and I was like, how do I kind of want to structure this? But I liked their kind of intro, how, you know, at the start of every episode, you have that kind of intro thing, kind of makes me feel like a TV show. So I was like, I want to do that sort of thing.
Yeah, Nickelodeon, right?
Yeah. So that's when I hit up Charlie and I spoke to him about it and kind of pitched him the idea, and that's what he sent me. And I was like, that's fucking perfect, man. I'm all for this. Yeah,
it's great.
Big love to Charlie. I'm hoping he's going to be on the podcast soon. So fingers crossed. He's a very, very busy boy. Very, very busy. Which is great.
I guess so, because that animation is great, and animation, it's not an easy thing to do.
No, definitely not. And that particular, like, that sort of, I don't say Disney,
and I really
but
like his style.
Oh, dude, his style is incredible, man. Definitely check out the Skeeto trailer. Actually, I'll see if I can find it and send it to you through Discord.
Sure.
Because
I actually I don't remember the guy who made my avatar.
Oh, you don't?
No, I don't. But it was a
Freddy.
I contacted this guy from Brazil on Instagram, and I really like his style as well. But sometimes I do devlogs for YouTube, and I kind of dig your intro a lot, and I'm like, I should copy his idea.
Do it, man.
For this.
Here we go.
I need a good animator like your friend.
Man, I mean, you could try and hit up Charlie and see if he'd be able to. I just sent you a link to the Skeeto trailer for you to check out.
It's amazing.
When we're done, man, to see Charlie's style. He's so, man, I cannot sing his praise enough. I love Charlie so much.
Oh, so his name is Charlie Mack.
Yeah, Charlie Mack.
Is that his name, or is he a fan of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia?
I never actually asked that, to be honest. I never made the connection.
You ever watch that show?
Yeah, I've watched the first few seasons. Like, the thing with like Australia is it's very tough for us to get certain like TV shows and such. So, like Always Sunny in Philadelphia, only the first 4 or 5 seasons were released on DVD. And then on Amazon, I think only 7 seasons were released, but there's like 15 seasons of it. So there's just no way to watch it without pirating it. It's just because distribution in Australia is so fucked up here. Like
the same thing happened here, but because this is such a niche kind of show, it never got popular in Mexico. In Mexico.
Yeah, it's not that popular here either.
But
which sucks because it's so good.
I'm gonna be honest, I pirated it a while ago.
Freddy!
But it was way before it was available anywhere.
No, that's fair.
and I mean, I just pirated like until season 8 or 9,
Yeah.
where they were at the time in 2010 or something.
Mm.
And then now I think it's available on Amazon Prime. I think
Yeah,
maybe
I'm not
here
too
in
sure.
Mexico.
Last time I checked, there was only like 8 seasons or something on the Australian version of Amazon Prime. And I was like, I want to watch it all. I don't want to watch 8 seasons and be like, oh, I just guess I miss out on the other 7. It's like, I want to watch all of it. But distribution's so fucked here, man. Like, there was a point with like Game of Thrones was a big one.
Yeah.
Game of Thrones, Australia was the country that pirated Game of Thrones the most out of any country in the
Really?
world. Yeah. Because it
More
was
than China.
it was so impossible for us to watch it.
Yeah.
We could only watch it on this thing called Foxtel, which is like
Okay.
cable TV.
Okay.
Which was like, it's like $60 a month for this sort of
That's
thing.
just-
And even paying that $60 a month, you still get tons of ads. You still have to watch it on the schedule, so only when it shows on schedule.
So it's just TV. It's just
so it's just TV that you're paying $60 a month
old-fashioned
for. Yeah. Meanwhile,
right.
like Netflix was a thing and such. So people just pirated the shit out of Game of Thrones because they're like, I want to watch it. I don't want to spend $60 a month to watch Game of Thrones at a very particular time. And then there was this huge like uproar and shit. Everyone kicked up a stink because they're like, oh, Australia's like pirating. And it was like, it's because we can't watch it. Like, people are very happy to pay for it if they can. But because we couldn't, everyone just fucking pirated it. And then it was just this huge fucking debacle. And
that's their fault, man. I mean, it's people are willing to pay a fair price for a good show. People are willing to.
I mean, look, since like since Spotify pretty much became a thing, music piracy has gone down fucking
It's
heaps.
gone. Exactly.
I don't know anyone that pirates music anymore because they're like, man, I could just pay $12 a month on Spotify and I have every song ever.
Exactly, because it's the convenience of it, right?
I don't have to sit here and wait for it to download and all that bullshit.
You're about my age. I'm 30. So you probably grew up also pirating music in the 2000s.
Yep. With LimeWire, FrostWire.
Yeah, LimeWire,
Oh.
Ares. It was a huge thing here. Ares. But that was over.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody pirates music anymore.
No. But I mean,
nobody did that.
It was strange because, like, I remember with like pirating music, there would be occasionally a time where I would go to download a song, and I would end up downloading the wrong song, or the song would be labeled wrong, or something like that.
Or porn.
Yeah, or porn. That happens so fucking often, man. Like, I'm a big like pro wrestling fan. Like, I've been a big pro wrestling fan ever since I was a kid.
Okay.
And that's another thing that was very difficult to watch in Australia up until the past few years or so. So I'd have to pirate.
You gotta come to Mexico, man.
Oh, dude. Oh, man, I love Mexican wrestling.
You need to come here. It's so. I mean, I didn't grow with wrestling or anything.
Yeah.
But it's
massive there, isn't it?
It's massive, and also the American wrestling was massive when we were growing up.
Yeah.
It was massive, but Mexican wrestling, man, it's just, I don't know. Maybe it's the costumes.
Yeah.
And the people, how people behave, because it's not like, you watch like wrestling in the American wrestling, and you see like the public and there's kids like holding signs or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, in Mexican wrestling, there's like old ladies screaming, "Fuck you, you motherfucker!" Because people get into it like so much.
I love that though, man.
And you can drink a lot there, and people get drunk, and it's a great thing. Wrestling is a great thing.
It is, man. I love it.
And
I've
they
never been to a
look
show,
silly, and it's a great show. It's just a great show.
I find it so fascinating, man. Particularly like if you break down like the 4 main sort of territories of wrestling, you've got like American wrestling, Mexican wrestling, Japanese, and European. They're so very distinctly different. Like American is very like American. It's very like showboaty. It's very much like celebrity kind of influence. Mexicans all about like luchadors, very like high flying superhero kind of thing.
It's a lot of it's more like we got influenced a lot by the American style.
Yeah.
So nowadays you have like superstars
Yeah.
nowadays, but also it's the superhero thing.
Yeah.
It's the good bad guys versus the bad guys.
Yeah, and that's huge.
Yeah.
And then you get
it's
to
a
like
kind of blend.
Yeah, then you get to like Japan, and Japan's very like a lot of it's very like honor based. A lot of it was, you know, there's not really good guys and bad guys. It's just two people fighting each other. And they've kind of been a bit more American influenced in the past like 20 years or so, but a lot of it was just two dudes just smacking the shit out of each other. And then you get to like European wrestling, particularly like English wrestling, which is just two big dudes just punching each other until one of them falls down.
I've never seen that. I've never seen that before.
Oh, dude, English wrestling is hard as balls, man. Like,
I didn't know that was a thing.
Oh, dude, it's brutal. I'll send you. I'll find some shit to send you, man. English wrestling is just mental. It's just two big dudes just punching each other and beating the crap out of each other. It's so fascinating. There's like different territories and stuff, and how they kind of have huge influences on each other. Like English and Japanese wrestling are very similar, very hard hitting, and then you've got the American and Mexican are very similar because they're very like showboaty and.
Yeah.
Man, I don't want to go down a rabbit hole of wrestling. Like I will talk about it. Ever.
Do you know El Santo? You know
El Santo,
who
yeah.
Santo is?
Man, El Santo's fascinating, man. Got buried in his mask.
Yeah.
They only took it off once, and it was like a week before he died.
Exactly, and he made a bunch of movies, and I don't know if this is true though. You're a film guy, so
Yep.
Film guys here in Mexico usually say, but I don't know if this is just a legend or something that they say, that El Santo was a huge influence in the movie scene because he invented the action movies.
I do. Actually, I don't know if that's true.
They say that the first action movies were El Santo movies because back then in Hollywood they were just doing westerns, and there was no movie where a guy was just kicking the shit out of everybody like a regular action movie, right? Like I don't know, like a Sylvester Stallone movie or something like that, right? Where he just goes and fight with everybody. And that's something that film guys like to say here, but I don't know if that's really true, because I'm like, come on, dude.
I'm gonna look it up. When was El
Santo is, I think, the 40s or 50s.
So
the movies.
He started out 1952 was his first serial that he made. So from the 50s to around the 70s.
He was just movies.
Yeah. Which around that time, was a lot of cowboy movies. Hitchcock sort of made stuff like North by Northwest, which is like a spy thriller, but not so much action. I guess it's kind of, in a way, I mean, Japanese cinema was coming a lot with like samurai films at the same time, which I think were huge influences.
But samurai films are also just a western with swords,
just
right?
western, just in Japan.
And I don't have anything against westerns. I really like them, actually. But they say that that's something that Mexican film guys like.
There
like
might
to
be
say.
some validity to it, man. Like, I'm not too familiar with like the history of like action films, for example. It's not really the genre that I watch too much of. I watch a lot of like dramas and indie films, but I mean, just from like a cursory look, it's El Santo might be the father of action films. That very might be the case.
They might be the case. They might be the case.
You can thank wrestling for Die Hard.
Exactly.
Without professional wrestling, we wouldn't have Die Hard, The Expendables. We wouldn't have The Matrix or John Wick. It's all thanks to professional wrestling.
All thanks to wrestling and El Santo.
And El Santo, man. Oh, fuck yeah. Freddy, man, this has been awesome, bro. We need to wrap it up, my dude. This has been so good.
Yeah, I agree with that.
This has been awesome. Where can people find you? What are your socials so people can find you?
I'm everywhere as GameDevBoi with an I. I have a YouTube channel that I upload once every month or so. Just kind of update on my development or Sometimes Llorona's trailer is there.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna upload a trailer also for this game
Hell yeah.
eventually there. But I'm actually planning of making kind of tutorials for Godot, which is the engine that I'm using.
Ooh, I'm gonna watch those. I'd love
because-
to learn how to use Godot.
Yeah, and also because I found that there's a lot of things that I'm doing with this game where the tutorials that I find are really old now. And
Yeah.
some things I have to figure out by myself, and it's like, wait, why is this guy doing this? Oh, it's because Godot had a bug, and that's why. But now you don't need to do this.
Yeah.
You know?
Man, that's a good idea, man. If there's a market for it, hell yeah.
Yeah, I think it is. And also, I'm on Twitter, but I kind of hate Twitter. But
Dude, me too, so much.
but I'm there. As GameDevBoi with an I. Also YouTube GameDevBoi with an I, and Instagram is GameDevBoi with an I, lower dash, because there was another GameDevBoi.
Oh. Awesome.
Yeah.
So all those will be linked in the description as well. Go check out Freddy. Don't forget to check out, it's the same on itch.io. Yeah, itch.io as well. Play Llorona. It's a fucking awesome little horror game, and the new one that will be coming out hopefully soon. If you have any ideas for the name of that, please hit us up, either Freddy or myself, at Not Greg Gaming. And yeah, Freddy, it's been a pleasure, my friend.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much.
All right, bye everyone.
Bye, everybody.